Welcome to the final moments of light. We stand at the threshold of the end, where time is no longer measured by years, but by the decay. The very fabric of our reality is beginning to unravel as the rhythmic pulse of the cosmos slows down into an eternal and hauntingly beautiful silence. Our journey starts in the familiar reach of our solar system, where the sun, once a bringer of life, prepares for its final destructive transformation. The sun swells into a crimson titan, a fiery sphere consuming the inner worlds that once harbored the fragile dreams and history of a distant humanity. Planets that stood for billions of years are reduced to vapor in an instant, their legacies erased by the very star that once gave them light. From the silent peaks of the moon, the horizon is swallowed by fire, signaling the end of an era for the cradle of all we knew. Within the hollow shells of our forgotten achievements, the light of a dying star casts a final, tragic glow upon the machinery of a lost civilization. The echoes of human ambition fade into the cold vacuum as the heat of the red giant reaches its peak before the inevitable, final collapse. Across the vast reaches of the Milky Way, the lights are going out. One by one, the stars flicker like dying candles in a rising gale. Only the smallest, most patient stars remain, their dim red glow a lonely testament to a universe that is rapidly running out of fuel and energy. We are leaving the age of starlight, entering a transition where the brilliance of the past becomes a faint, distant memory in the cold, dark void. Welcome to the Degenerate era. The stars have stopped burning, leaving behind only the dense, cool embers of what were once magnificent celestial furnaces of light. As the eons pass, these white dwarfs lose their heat, drifting through the darkness like ghosts of a forgotten age waiting for the end of time. The cooling process is slow, taking longer than the current age of the universe, as the last remnants of heat bleed away into the frozen abyss. Eventually, they become black dwarfs, frozen, dark masses of degenerate matter, invisible and cold, drifting forever in a universe that has finally grown completely dark. These are the silent tombstones of the cosmos, spheres of cold carbon and iron that will never feel the warmth of a nearby sun again. But even the solid ground is not safe. In the heart of every atom, a fundamental betrayal is taking place as the laws of physics change. Proton decay begins. The very building blocks of matter are unstable, slow dissolving after a span of time that defies any human sense of scale. The strongest metals and the hardest rocks begin to evaporate. In this era, the concept of solid is nothing more than a temporary illusion of history. Our last artifacts, the golden records and steel hulls of our probes, crumble into subatomic dust, leaving no trace that we ever existed in the void. The universe becomes a thin soup of elementary particles, drifting in a space that is expanding faster than the light can hope to travel across. Structure itself is a casualty of time. The complex patterns that once formed galaxies and life are now breaking down into their simplest, most chaotic forms. Where there was once light and heat, there is now only the cold dance of lonely particles wandering through a vacuum that is growing increasingly vast. The last black dwarf disappears. The era of matter is over, leaving the universe to the giants that thrive in the heart of the darkness. We enter a new age, a period of time so long that the previous life of the universe seems like a brief, flickering spark of fire. These are the black holes. They are the final masters of the universe, scavengers of the light that have outlasted every star and every planet. Even these monsters are not eternal. They slowly leak energy back into space, a process called Hawking radiation, whispering their own slow and inevitable demise. In the deep silence, titans meet. They orbit one another in a dance that lasts for trillions of years, preparing for a final, violent union. Their merger shakes the very foundation of space and time, sending ripples across a universe that is now too empty to hear their silent, powerful cry. They are the lonely sentinels of the end, guarding a graveyard of galaxies, waiting for the ticking clock of the universe to reach its final hour. As the eons pass, the rate of evaporation increases. The smaller a black hole gets, the faster it bleeds its mass back into the cold void. It reaches a tipping point where the laws of gravity can no longer hold the remaining energy, preparing for the most powerful explosion in history. In one final, glorious burst of energy, the black hole vanishes, leaving behind a momentary sun that shines upon a universe of absolute and total nothingness. The flash is gone as quickly as it came, leaving the void even darker than before as the echoes of the explosion dissipate into the distance. Across the cosmos, the last fires are being extinguished. These are the final fireworks of reality, the closing ceremony of the age of matter and energy. Soon, there will be only one, a single, lonely point of existence in a sea of nothingness, struggling against the inevitable pull of total non-existence. And then, there are none. The era of black holes is over. The universe has finally finished its long and arduous process of cooling down. We enter the final stage, an era of maximum entropy where the temperature is barely above absolute zero and nothing new can ever happen again. Particles drift for light years without meeting another, and when they do, they lack the energy to bond, to change, or to spark any new life. This is the heat death, a state of perfect balance where energy is distributed so evenly that the flow of time loses its fundamental purpose. The story of the universe reaches its final chapter, a story that began with a bang, ending not with a whimper, but with total stillness. In these final moments, we reflect on the nature of consciousness. We were the universe's way of experiencing itself, the eyes that saw the light. But even consciousness must bow to the laws of entropy. The thoughts and memories of all that ever lived are dissolving into the fundamental background. Our legacy is not in the things we built, but in the fact that we were here to witness this grand and terrifying journey to the end. The distinction between here and there, now and then, disappears. All information is lost, and the universe becomes a blank slate of eternal uniformity. There is no more heat, no more cold, only a level of existence so stable that it is indistinguishable from the absolute void of non-being. The clock has stopped. The expansion continues, but there is nothing left to expand, nothing left to see, and no one left to remember the stars. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey to the very end of everything. You are a part of the universe's most precious, fleeting moment. Sleep well, universe. Your long story is finally over, and the silence that follows is the only peace you have ever truly known since the beginning. In the end, there is only the void. The great journey is complete. The light has gone out, and the darkness is now absolute and forever. No more stars, no more life, no more time. Just the infinite expanse of a reality that has fulfilled its destiny and returned to the quiet. We drift into the ultimate silence, where the laws of physics are the only ghosts left haunting the ruins of a once vibrant and energetic cosmos. One last ripple in the dark, a final whisper of the energy that once created mountains, oceans, and the hearts of every living creature. The story ends here, in the perfect, cold embrace of the void, where all things are finally equal and all struggles have come to rest. The sand has run out. The glass is broken. Time itself has expired, and the universe has reached the final, silent shore of its long voyage. Nothing remains but the memory of light, And even that memory is fading now, as the last observer closes their eyes for the final time. We have reached the point beyond time, where the very concepts of past and future have collapsed into a single, unchanging moment of eternal stillness. This is the final equilibrium. The universe is now at its most stable, its most peaceful, and its most hauntingly empty state of being. Even the last wanderers are tired. The particles of the past are now so far apart that they will never see each other again. The journey is over. The silence is total. The light has served its purpose, and now it is time for the darkness to rule forever. Memories of the vibrant past flicker for the last time as the expansion of space tears apart the last remnants of galactic structures. Space itself is stretching, becoming so thin that it can no longer support the weight of even the simplest thoughts or physical laws. The last bit of energy stretches out into infinity, cooling until it is indistinguishable from the background, leaving nothing but the pure vacuum. Only the quantum foam remains, a boiling sea of nothingness where particles are born and die in an instant, with no purpose or effect. Even the quantum world slows down as the universe reaches its final, ultimate state of frozen, eternal, and perfect crystalline peace and quiet. We are small, but we are the ones who looked. We are the ones who asked why. And now, we are the ones who watch it end. One last data point, one last bit of meaning. It dissolves into the void, leaving no record of the billions of years of cosmic history. The circle is complete. From the singularity of the beginning to the absolute void of the end, the cycle of time has finally closed. The colors of existence are fading. The reds, the blues, the yellows of the stars are replaced by the infinite, unchanging shade of the night. We move toward the center of nothing. We embrace the silence. We accept the end of the journey with the same wonder we had at the start. A final thought, a final breath, a final look at the beauty of the void before the lights are turned off for the very last time. And in that moment, the universe is finished. The work of 14 billion years and countless trillions more is finally and completely done. There is nothing more to say. There is nothing more to see. The darkness is all that remains, and it is a perfect, beautiful end. The heartbeat of the cosmos has stopped. The rhythm of time has reached its final beat, and the silence is now the only sound left. Good night, universe. You were a magnificent, brief, and beautiful dream in the heart of the eternal and infinite darkness of the great void.